Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Tech Talk Tuesday. My name is Brian Mursky, and I am the owner of Veranda Technologies. We're here in Brick Township, and we service Monmouth, Ocean, and the surrounding counties in New Jersey. So tonight, I've got a list that I keep, but nothing was really jumping out at me as a topic I wanted to do. So I posted on my personal Facebook page, my company Facebook page, and the Brick Township Chamber page for suggestions for things that people would like. And I actually got quite a few back between those three places. No, Valora, we're not going to talk about Bitcoin. I'm going to stay as far away from Bitcoin as possible. Carol wanted to talk about optimizing Wi-Fi. I've done that a little bit, and I actually have a larger Wi-Fi coming up probably in the next month or so. Tony needed help remembering her passwords after she sets a new one. We've definitely done password-related discussions in the past. And no, Sasha, I'm not doing AI permeation until somebody teaches me all about it. That's above me. So, and Michael actually wanted to talk about internet browsers, and that's definitely a topic we'll hit on. Not today. I wasn't prepared for that. There's actually... that opens up a whole world, so we're not going to get into internet browsers tonight. But Marianne asked about child safety proofing, and I've wanted to do it. My daughter has a cell phone. We've talked more with her recently about that, or I have anyway. And I thought we should spend a few minutes anyway talking about things that we can do to keep our kids safe, not just on cell phones, but technology in general. So I've got a list I'll run down. Mostly overview. If there's anything that I cover that you want to hear in greater detail, please drop me an email or give me a call. Email's probably easiest because then I can reply and when I have time and get back to you. But on any of these or any other topic, please always email helpdesk@verandatech.com. So if you have computers in the home, you want to make sure that you have internet filtering software on them. And there's, again, I'm not going to dive into each of these, but there's a world of choices out there, so we can certainly help you with those. But filtering software will help you prevent kids of varying ages, and again, which software you use will depend on what age children you have in the home. But to block websites, emails, even text messaging in some cases. So that's certainly something you should have. You want to enable spam filters on your kids' emails if you can. Not only does it protect them from, the occasional totally inappropriate email, but it also protects them from spam and travel scams and things like that. So you want to make sure that you have a good spam filter on email accounts for children. Take advantage of any parental features that are built in. So I know we have TiVos. A lot of people have DVRs, recording devices from Comcast, Verizon, Fios, Time Warner, Cox, whoever. You want to make sure that they're protected. You want to enable those. Most of these devices now have child safety features. So you can enable a PIN that you would have to get around, enter the PIN to download certain content, view certain ratings. If something's not TVY or PG, if it's unrated, for example, or if it's rated R or mature, then they would be locked out from that. Whether it's on live TV or recorded, by the way, in most cases. One that gets overlooked a lot is cleaning up your iTunes account. And iTunes also does, by the way, have content rating filters. So you can set content rating filters in iTunes. But even beyond that, so I happen to I have a ridiculously large iTunes collection, probably 20,000. In fact, I can tell you, 13,469 items in iTunes. Not all of those are appropriate for my kids to listen to. They're in there. They probably shouldn't be. I should probably remove them because the kids do have the ability to play music throughout the house. And if they picked the wrong content, would be embarrassing in the least. Maybe prompt some conversations about things we don't want to be discussing with them yet. So clean up your iTunes account. Familiarize yourself with the sites that they use. Quite frankly, for the longest time, my daughter had Instagram, and I didn't know how to use Instagram. It wasn't my thing. She's not on Facebook. We don't have to worry about that. MySpace, thankfully, is gone. But there are a lot of sites that the kids use. I know they're on Musical.ly. I don't know how that stuff works. I don't know if there's anything inappropriate that could be going on there until I go and learn it. So don't be afraid to ask them what they're doing online, how it works. Ask them to show it to you. It's, absolutely discussion that should be had. You should have fact-finding discussions with your kids anyway. Familiarize yourself with what it is that they're using. This stuff changes by the millisecond. I mean, technology is constantly evolving. Your kids are probably way more advanced on some of this stuff than you are. You have to have the discussion. You have to know what it is they're doing online. Another thing that gets overlooked is with the emergence of technology now, we have things like the Amazon Dots and Echoes, Alexa, products like that. Many of them have cameras built in. Your TV may have a camera built in. Laptops, computers, all of this stuff now could have microphones, could have cameras. You want to think about where they are in the house. Do you necessarily want an Alexa in a daughter or son's bedroom? If it has a camera or microphone attached to it. I don't. So, think about the type of technology. Is it really wise to put it in there? Surveillance cameras, for example, are great, but you don't want one in a kid's bedroom, because then there's a camera in the kid's bedroom. And then, particularly for cell phones, and this is, I think, where Marianne was talking about, there are a number of things you can do on cell phones to keep kids safe. I actually just learned about one recently. So in our household, by the way, my kids, because my phone is a work phone, my iPhone is a work phone, and it's extremely important to me, nobody uses it. My wife doesn't use my phone, my kids don't use my phone, rarely even for a minute. Occasionally my wife will use it to look something up, but the kids never ever get to put their hands on my phone. So I never bothered really to go through the parental controls on my phone. Now on her phone, that's a different story. And after this video, there are probably a few things that I'll address that should be turned on. Certainly you can restrict on the iPhone or on the Android. I'll pull mine out actually and run through. So picture up on the screen. But if you go to General in Settings, the gray gear icon on the iPhone, and then go from Settings to General, and then to Restrictions, you can actually set... Why can't I find it now? You can... I need to put a pin to get into that area, which is good. You can allow or disallow the Safari browser, the camera, Siri and dictation, FaceTime, airdropping, CarPlay, probably the most important, which is the iTunes Store and the App Store, so you can't download anything. It locks that credit card account out. But then you can also have content ratings, music and news ratings, TVs, apps, Siri, inappropriate language in Siri, things like that. There's a very long list of things that you can approve, deny, or have varying level of filters for. You should look at that on your phone. On the Android as well, I don't know the Android as well, but there is a Parental Controls section. You can also on the Android set up child accounts, so an entire account for the phone, so that you could log in just that account, and it would restrict sets of things. And there's also something called screen pinning on the Android. On the iPhone, it's called guided access, and that actually locks you into an app. So you could bring up a game and then pin that game, right? So your child wants to play a game. You launch the app, you pin the app, and then you can't get out of that app without a certain set of keystrokes, or drawing a certain pattern on the screen, entering a pin. So they're locked in that app, which is great because how often does an ad come up or somebody accidentally backs out of the the app and finds themselves into something else. Now they're in your pictures, they're in your text messages. It could be very innocent, but you want to make sure it doesn't happen. So think about these things. Again, don't be afraid to talk to your kids. Find out what they're doing online. Make sure they understand the safety. If you want somebody else to talk to them, we're not doing it for you. But there are services for that too. But just get familiar. Think about these things. This technology is changing so quickly. Video is getting, built into everything. Microphones are built into everything. You have products in your house right now that you don't even realize have microphones or cameras in them. I know you do. So just be aware of that. Lock this stuff down. Take the time. Go through the settings. It really is important. Make sure your kids are protected. Make sure they understand. If you have any specific questions about how to do this, I know I struggle with these videos. I don't want them to be too long, but I want them to be valuable and not just gloss over everything. So I'm trying to provide tips, but without really diving too deep. Please let me know. Feedback is great. Helpdesk at verandatech.com. My phone number is 732-743-5772. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time on Tech Talk Tuesday.